That Friday evening started like countless others, yet I'd been counting down to it all week. Work had drained me, and I had pictured us escaping for dinner, laughing over a meal, and finding that spark again. Instead, when I stepped inside, the living room sat silent and empty. On the table lay a single slip of paper. Going out with the girls. Don't wait up. A tight pressure gripped my chest. It wasn't the first time she'd made plans without telling me, but lately it had become almost routine. She seemed detached, uninterested in conversation, her eyes always fixed on her phone, inventing reasons to avoid spending our evenings together. I called her, but she didn't answer. Minutes later, a text arrived. Relax. I'm with friends. I'll be late. I stared at the message, a mix of frustration and sadness swirling in my chest. I'd never been a jealous person, but being shut out again and again without even a basic discussion made me feel invisible. Over the past few weeks, a pattern had formed. Every Friday night, she and her friends gathered at the same upscale restaurant, indulging in lavish dinners and cocktails as if every week was a special occasion. And every time, the bill landed on my credit card. That morning, I'd spotted the latest statement tucked in her purse. The amounts weren't small, but my concern wasn't the expense, it was what it represented. She enjoyed the lifestyle my work provided, yet seemed unwilling to share it with me. That hurt far worse than any price tag. So when she mentioned another girls' night, I smiled and told her, sure, have fun. By then, my plan was already set. It was simple, but it would make a point. Once she sat down with her friends, she'd discover her extravagant evening wasn't going to be on my tab. 10 minutes after she left in her favorite dress, heels clicking confidently on the floor, I opened my banking app and froze her card. I could already imagine her expression when the waiter returned with the news. She wanted independence on her own terms. Well, I was about to show her what that really looked like. The rooftop bar she'd chosen was alive with music, clinking glasses, and the faint scent of expensive perfume. People were dressed to impress, their laughter mingling with the city air. Her friends greeted her with hugs and excited chatter, trading stories and snapping Instagram photos. Sliding into the booth, she wore that polished smile, the one that silently boasted, "Look at me. I've made it." When the waiter appeared, she confidently handed over the card I'd just cancelled. The first warning came when the payment terminal failed to connect. He tried again, keeping a professional smile, but the charge was declined. Her confidence wavered. She swiped again, hoping it was a technical glitch. The table grew quieter, her friends exchanging puzzled glances. "Everything okay?" one of them asked gently. She nodded, though her fingers shook as she made another attempt. The waiter returned with an apologetic look. "Sorry, ma'am, it's not going through." For the first time that night, her polished mask cracked. Her friends exchanged awkward smiles, some whispering, others simply staring. A warm flush crept up her face, not from the evening chill, but from the sting of public embarrassment. Murmuring an excuse, she slipped away to the restroom, leaving behind half-finished drinks and curious eyes. Behind the closed door, her phone screen lit up, missed calls and unread messages from me. She didn't respond. I imagined her pulse quickening as she realized I'd cut off the one resource that fueled her double life: financial freedom without accountability. When she returned, her smile was forced. The whispers didn't fade. Even the picture she posted online that night seemed hollow. I didn't need to be there to know. A mutual friend filled me in later, every detail of how her night unraveled. The next morning, the air in the house felt heavier than any fight we'd ever had. She moved slowly, avoiding my eyes. When I asked about the card, she forced a thin smile. Probably a bank error. But I knew better. In the days that followed, I noticed changes. She went out less. Her laughter was softer. Her mind seemed elsewhere. We began speaking again, though each conversation felt careful, like we were both stepping onto fragile ice. Eventually, she confessed. She told me how much she had relied on the comfort my work had given her, how she had taken it for granted, and how deeply it had stung when that world collapsed in front of her friends. It had never truly been about the money, It was about respect, honesty, and partnership. I told her trust isn't built on luxury meals or expensive clothes. It's built on showing up for each other, in both joy and hardship. Tears slid down her face as she nodded, finally grasping the cost of her choices. That night had marked a shift in our relationship. We could see clearly how the comfort we'd fallen into was eroding our foundation. So we decided to rebuild, slowly, with honesty, shared responsibility, and time spent together without distractions or secrets. I never told her freezing the card had been my way of testing if she valued us more than the image she projected. A relationship isn't for display. It's a commitment that requires care and respect. That night cost us both something, but it was worth the price if it meant saving what was real. Sometimes, tough love is the only thing strong enough to wake someone from an illusion. And in that strange mix of humiliation and honesty, we found a chance to start again.